Quick Uchu Shelf history lesson. Before Uchu Shelf became the YouTube channel that for whatever reason you guys are spending your time watching, used to be a blog in which I reviewed manga on. And one of the things I did on the blog was something I called First Impressions, where I would read the first chapter or the first few chapters of a manga and give my initial thoughts and feelings on it. Now, Viz Media used to do this thing they called the Jumpstart Initiative, where they would take newly debuted series from Shonen Jump in Japan, and pretty much the same day, like they do with Shonen Jump now, release them on their platform for people to read in English. And the first time that I covered the Jumpstart Initiative was with 3 series, that's Noah's Notes, Ziga, and one you might have heard of called Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, I immediately called it that Jujutsu Kaisen would be the only manga of the 3 of them to actually make it through and become fully serialized in the magazine. And a lot of people said I was wrong. Yeah, I'm not seeing a Ziga or Noah's Notes anime, but I am seeing a Jujutsu Kaisen anime on the horizon there. Now, I've been watching Jujutsu Kaisen kind of unfold from the sidelines. I have a general idea of what's going on story-wise, but it's not something I'm actively keeping up on, mostly because Biz's Shonen Jump app is kind of taking their time to translate the chapters. They have 1 through 18, I believe, right now. There's a big gap, and then something like 40 up to the current chapter. Now, admittedly, until a couple of days ago, I had not read more than that first chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen that I had initially reviewed. But given the fact that Jujutsu Kaisen is getting an anime adaptation, and because the first physical volume is dropping literally on Tuesday, it prompted me to go back and catch up on Jujutsu Kaisen. And once I got about partway through the Disaster Curses arc, I had to take a break. Because you know what, guys? Jujutsu Kaisen is the GOAT of Shonen Jump right now. Let's get into it. Now, it might be a bit weird for me to say this, but aside from maybe Black Clover, Jujutsu Kaisen is my favorite series in Shonen Jump right now. So, Jujutsu Kaisen follows a high schooler named Yuuji, who is very good at sports, he's a very good runner, he's a very athletic person, but he absolutely hates doing it. And despite the coach's attempts to get him to join the track team, he decides to instead join the occult research team. Now, the occult research team affords him the opportunity to leave school by 5 so he can go and visit his grandfather, who is sick and in the hospital. And on his deathbed, his grandfather gives Yuuji 2 pieces of advice. Always help people, and die surrounded by a crowd. Later on, Yuuji is confronted by a man called Megumi, who claims that he is a sorcerer that is after this ancient, cursed talisman thing, and that the occult research team at his school has it. Now, the charm itself draws in these grotesque, disgusting creatures called curses. And curses themselves are brought about by negative energy, negative emotion, and basically strong spiritual power. And when curses consume these cursed objects, they become a lot more powerful, which I don't think anybody wants. Now, eventually, one of the curses does start attacking the school. Megumi, being a sorcerer, having these sorcerer powers, jumps into battle. Yuuji feels a little bit left out. He feels like he has nothing to offer, so instead of running away like he's told, he takes the cursed object, which is a disgusting, rotten finger, and he eats the thing. He literally pops it in his mouth like it's candy and swallows it. Now, the inadvertent side effect of swallowing a rotten finger, as if that's not bad already, is now Yuuji is host to Sukuna, a really, really bad dude. More accurately, one of the strongest curses out there, and every sorcerer worth their weight in gold knows the fact that Sukuna is a bad guy. Now, despite being possessed by Sukuna, Yuuji has full control of his body, save for a couple of little things like Sukuna can jump through and start talking through putting a mouth on any part of his body. But even though Yuuji can control it, because he has such a powerful, powerful curse inside him, it is decided that Yuuji must die. Now, after they put the curse that is running over the school to rest, and after they realize that Sukuna is now part of Yuuji, Yuuji meets Megumi's teacher, Gojo, who is a teacher at the Tokyo Metropolitan Magic Technical School. Gojo goes on to propose a plan to his superiors at the technical school, and offers Yuuji a pretty weird ultimatum. Yuuji can either die right then and there, or Yuuji can help consume the remainder of Sukuna's fingers after they seek them out and find them, and die after he's been possessed, helping the technical school and all the other sorcerers to destroy Sukuna once and for all. As a means of keeping an eye on him, Gojo helps to induct Yuuji into the Tokyo Metropolitan Magic Technical College, where Yuuji becomes one of 3 first-year students, including Megumi and a young woman named Kugasaki. Now, as I've mentioned before, I'm not caught up on Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm only about 16 or so chapters into the series, but I can already see it as something special. I can already deduce that Jujutsu Kaisen is going to go down as one of the modern-day Shonen Jump greats. I mean, for example, the art is crisp and clean. The story itself, at first, was a bit bland, but as it's developed a lot more, has become something really rather special. The mechanics of the world are actually really easy to understand. They're really easy to grasp. It's not like other manga where it's like got all these really ridiculously complicated concepts where they have to spend like volumes explaining how like a power beam works or something like that. I love every single character I've been introduced to so far. The synergy between the three main characters and their teacher, while not entirely a fresh or brand new concept, is so well executed that you just can't help but smile. And I gotta talk about the designs of the various curses that appear too. They are just bloody terrifying. They remind me of like this weird mashup of something out of I Am a Hero and something from Juji Ito. Now, of course, manga is no stranger to invoking Japan's folklore for their own story elements. I've lost track of how many spirit world meets real world, humans versus demons, supernatural battle action manga that I've read, and anime that I've watched. And honestly, I was a little worried when I first read Jujutsu Kaisen that it itself was going to fall into this category. And quite honestly, it doesn't at all. Or if it does, it doesn't feel rammed down my throat like a lot of series tend to do. It toes that fine line between being that tropey supernatural battle manga and flips all the tropes on its head upside down and gives the reader a little something extra and original to enjoy. Now, two great things about Jujutsu Kaisen really stick out to me. The first is the connection you as the reader have with Yuuji. Now, within the first few chapters, we're already given Yuuji's fate. We know that at the end of the series, if and when it ends, that Yuuji is going to die. It's just an inevitability. That's going to happen. The cool thing about that, though, is that Yuuji himself knows that. And I thought that was a neat little concept thrown into the manga. The second is me being a complete and utter sucker for really cool shonen powers. Of course, what I'm talking about here is Megumi's Divine Dogs, which I honestly cannot wait to see animated, depending on the studio. Please don't be Pierrot, please don't be Pierrot, please don't be Pierrot, please don't be Pierrot. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Volume 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen goes on sale on Tuesday, December 3rd. But if you do not want to wait for that, or you have no intention of buying it, you can at least check out the manga on Viz's Shonen Jump app and Shueisha's MangaPlus app. If you either buy the volume or check them out on any of the apps, it definitely helps the creator, it helps the industry, and I'm going to segue that into don't forget to read legal manga. Go to www.wherecanireadmanga.com to get the lowdown on where you can read manga through a subscription, per volume, and even for free. If you're less of a manga fan and more of an anime fan though, you can hold out for whenever the Jujutsu Kaisen anime is coming out. So I'm probably going to end this video here because, honestly, I'm looking at the next queued up chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen on my computer right now. I just want to get back to it. It's such a great series. Check it out if you guys can. And thanks for your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. You can get all the links for all that crap right down below. And until next time, folks, happy reading.